Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US daily stocks for Thursday, October 21st, and just starting with the NASDAQ today because what I'm trying to do is to confirm that we're in a bullish run. I mean, it's pretty obvious that we're in a bullish run. I understand that, but the structures that we're getting to the upside, they need to also help confirm that as well. And it's a little bit tricky as such because we don't have a clear impulse wave to the upside. So from the lows here on the NASDAQ as just a general sort of gist, we don't have a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here like this. That would tell me that I would get a correction after this and then another 5 waves up. So here we've got situations where we could look at all of this as wave 1, or we could look at it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. It doesn't really matter, but we've only got this leg here. So really we've only got sort of 3 legs up. This market's trading at the 78.6 retracement level. So yeah, I mean, we're probably okay and we're in a bull market, right? That's sort of a bit of a given, but at the same time I still want to be able to confirm it because it's at these junctures here when we've counted 5 waves up here that yeah, sure, we can just get a corrective move back and we'll be looking for that, and then another move up, and that's obviously going to help. But it's at this point here that the markets can turn. So yeah, we're just still trying to get that confirmation. One of the good news things though is that I haven't checked the S&P, but the FTSE, for example, has taken the top out here. I know it's a different market, but it just goes to show that another country is leading that to the upside. I'll just check the S&P. Yeah, the S&P has crept a little bit higher, and obviously it's quite close to the highs over here. But we also need to understand too that this has got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here as well. But wave 4s, they can also have expanded flats as well. So the market comes up here for the top of the 3rd wave here, and it pulls back for the A wave in 3 waves, and then it can go up in 3 waves to above the top here as a B wave, and then come back down and take the low out here as a C wave and then move off. So it's an A, B, C here, and this is an expanded flat. I don't think this is the case, but these are the things that we need to be aware about. That's all. So that's all I'm saying. But it's great to see the S&P so high here for that. But that would also be roughly 5 waves up here as well. So yeah, I mean, obviously it looks bullish, but I'm just pointing, just doing my job. So with Amazon here, we're looking at wave 4 can be here, or wave 4 can be here, because it never made a new low below this one. And I don't know if you recall, but we had a really nice clean 5 wave move up here for this. So this is not going to bother me in the first instance. I don't need to worry about that, but I do need to point it out. And we're just working this trend here, of course. Now at the 3,500 for this market, we can see nice sort of head and shoulders here, and it's obviously a resistance point here. So we know 5 is the second strongest number. We know that there's going to be some, vibration here before developing support, but that's really what we're looking for, support on that 35 level. I'm going to cut straight through to the tick chart as I normally do, and in this case just picking it up from the low here. We can have it as wave 4 or we can have it as wave 2 there. It doesn't really matter at this point in time. What we're looking for and doing is we're trading this long to the upside here, and as you can see we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So that could really be an ABC for the A wave, a B wave and a C wave, and that's the end of it. Do you know? So what we do need to know now for the next step is really technically to take out that high. We can drop it down a little bit further into this space here, and that's fine. I'll just put it about there. And we'll also look to add on 35 as well. But going on to 35, let's just assume for a moment that we do move up here. We will be looking for a classic trading levels pattern up here as well for this. And we will look to add as well. So it's just a process. Yeah. that's sort of where we are with Amazon. So I'm going to keep my stop out of the way here. As I mentioned before, we just don't want to get stopped out because of these wave fours in a trend to the upside. So we understand what can happen here. Once that 4 comes in here, then I can put the stop under there reasonably close, but we'll still understand that this wave 4 comes back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree as well. They don't always do that, and it probably won't, but we need to keep our stop out the way. The stop's there only because, you know, something drastically goes wrong. It's not there. We don't put it any closer because you've overtraded and put too much money in it and you're exposed. You know, less is more, and it makes it easier for life as well if you just stick to the parameters of your money management. Now this one is interesting. This is also a tick chart here, but it's Google, so you know, it takes up a fair bit of time. So here we've got well, I'm assuming wave 4's in, but once again, I had 5 waves here, so I knew I'd get another 5 waves. But really, this could be some sort of A, B, C pattern here, and that could be the end of it. You know, we could just, you know, come on down from that point. I mean, we'd expect it to come down to a point because I'm treating it as a wave 1 at this point, going up to here. So naturally it can pull back to the 50-60% retracement level. Doesn't have to, might just come back 40%. But yeah, that's sort of where we are with this at the moment. So this will also help us, like taking that top out takes us past that 3-wave move, which makes us bullish at that point. So normally here we'd just look for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave coming down and then moving up there. So we've been looking at this on the 10 tick chart as well, this move here. So I'm just going to go to the 10 tick chart. And these are our little 5 waves up. So a little bit hard to see on the 100 tick, but there's a good case for a little ABC pattern here already for this. What levels? That's just the midpoint, is it? $250 to $850. Okay. We've got 50 there, then we've got 80 there. Okay, so yeah, we can just go along above here. I don't see a problem with that. That may be the ABC, so it may not pull all the way back, you know. But taking this top out, taking this second top out here, which would be the B wave, the A, the B, and the C, if that's going to be the case, well then it forces that to be a corrective wave, and we'll be moving on. So looking good, but it could certainly move down further, and it could be down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, and, you know, move, you know, turn into a bearish market. We don't know that yet, you know, but I just think this is interesting where we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and anything past that would make it bullish. Okay, let's move along. So Apple, don't really need to look at the bigger picture here, just on the tick chart here, we've got from the low here, we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 on the tick chart here from the low, and we've just been working this trend to the upside here, that's all. So within that, we've got from blue wave 2 here, going up yonder here to blue wave 3 here somewhere. We'll be looking for 5 waves in green. So we've got wave 1 in green, wave 2 in green, and a little bit messy in here, then wave 3 in green that we're looking for yesterday. And then we'll be moving up. So it's also, in a way, we've kind of arrived here and had a bit of a reaction. So we will look at group 1 above the 150, which is the 150 is a medium level, and group 2 below. So we're going to keep the stop out of the way from that space. This will be the swing range. Let's just assume for a moment that that's in play. Okay, so that wave 4's done and dusted. And then we'll look for 5 waves up here. That could go into 10, 20 or 30 here. We don't know, but normally stays within, if it finds support on top of group 1, which will be the 53, the 153, if we get a classic trading levels pattern here and it develops support, then it's not going to be pulled back to this number. But otherwise, we should expect some type of correction here that can be within group 2 or to the wave 4 of one lesser degree here in this case, and then push up again from that point. So that's what we're sort of looking for. We'll also be looking to add over here as well. You can add here or you can add here as well. We've just got that long trade in, that long, so we've got 2 here. So adding another one here and another one over here would be fine. Yeah, so if this was going to be a corrective pattern, let's just say for a moment, then this would be an ABC for the A wave, and then the B wave here, and then the C wave up here. So if this market was going to fail, just to let you know, it would fail on this 5th wave of this 3rd wave here, because it would be 5 waves up at that point. So that's where it would fail at that point. So this is why we need to watch, in this case, watch this very carefully, and we want to see that we get a corrective pattern in this particular pullback for this wave 4 here, and if we get that, if we can see that it is corrective, then we'll know it's bullish. I mean, we think that it's bullish anyway, but we just need to confirm things, that's all. Okay, yeah, so that's that. So because we've got 2 positions in here, we haven't confirmed the whole trend. We don't want to expose ourselves by buying here and buying here and then coming back and finding this is bearish at this point. So we'll go over here. But if we can figure out that the first leg here is in 3 waves, then we can also look to move into this correction earlier. But otherwise, we'll put it over here. But yeah, and I want to keep the stop out of the way here as well. So I'll just leave it there for another session. Once that locks in, then this one will probably just come back to that one, or if not, even higher. Okay, square. So square's moving up with the rest of the market, and that's all good. And we've got a 3-wave correction here as a well, WXY if you like, and we can put wave 4 there. But as I mentioned before, it just haunts me a little bit that the previous wave 4 is this big, and then this one here is smaller. So it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't make any sense putting wave 1 here and wave 2 over here for this, because if it was a wave 2, I would need to see this first leg here in 5 waves, so a 5, 3, 5 structure, and I don't see that, so that can't be the case. So I just curious. I have to wait for I think we're ready to go now, but I had to wait for this move here as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave for this X wave, just to see if this market comes down at this point. It probably won't, but I needed to move past the C wave here, the C wave being 5 waves, all right? And now we can look to go long above that C wave there, because that just helps me confirm that we're bullish, because there's 5 waves in that move there. So anything above that would be bullish, and then I would be forced to accept the reality that we're in a bull market at that point, even though I don't know the best way to count that. I mean, yeah, we can get into the guessing game a little bit, but yeah, if anybody's got any ideas, that would be great. So let's just go to the tick chart and pick up where we've been working on this. So that's our ABC to the upside, which could be wave 1 and wave 2. And then we've gone for 5 waves up here of 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So we've got the top in here now. We're waiting for that 5th wave to finish off and pull back, and it's pulled back now. So we can go long above this high. Okay, so that's what we'll do at this point. Now, if the market drops any lower, and it shows us in some form or another that it's corrective, then we can bring it down to the next level, do you know what I mean, and get in. So we'll just wait to see what that is. It might even be like Google, you know what I mean? So like Google's going up for 1 and back for 2. So that's also a possibility as well. So even though it comes down, it doesn't mean that we can short it. We could only short it if it was under this level here and we could see that it was impulsing, the wave structure was impulsing to the downside. So in this case, the market could still pull back to here and be bullish. So even if it did move down, then it doesn't mean that it's bearish at that point either. So there's work to be done, but we've got our first reference point in place that we can use, and hopefully we can get a better price if this gives us some sort of, you know, rally here and then back down to here. Then we can drop it down to here, and then we can have a look at this to see if this move here was correct, bullish corrective, or impulsive to the downside. And then we can check on this one, and yeah, we just got to work through it. But we've been waiting for that, and that's where we are, and yeah, all looking good. We're doing all the right things at the right time, and that's all we can do, isn't it, you know? Okay, so Facebook, so just on the tick chart, we don't need to see the daily chart, but from the low here, this market, this is good because, you know, a lot of the markets that have started up from the bottom, they've gone up for 1, back for 2, up for 1, back for 2, and done 5 waves up here. So it leaves us in a situation that we've got, you know, could have an A, B, C for the A wave, and then the B wave, and then the C wave, so corrective. But this one here is doing it differently. This one here is doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and then we'll have an A, B, C pattern here for wave 2, and then we're going up again, you know. So this one is doing it a little bit differently. So, yeah, so this wave 4 so far is a little bit small compared to wave 2. It can pull back a little bit further here. Just clean my mess up, but yeah, a little bit small so far. We'll see how that goes. It looks like it wants to sort of move up. I would like to see it just get a little bit bigger. This line here is the 38.2% retracement level. There's a little gap over here. I don't know if that's important for Facebook. Some markets cover gaps, some don't. I mean, in the futures market, the gaps get covered. With stocks, my general thing about gaps is that you just go back into the market, take each market individually, go back over the market that you're looking at, and what degree does it cover gaps. So there's some markets that would cover it 100% and others that would cover it 30% gaps, you know, so you take them individually on that particular stock. So yeah, I don't know Facebook that well. You know, I'm in Australia, so I know Australian stock behaviour more so. But since I've been doing the US ones, I've been getting to understand their little idiosyncrasies and all the little subtleties. But it takes a while, and you got to notice them and so on. Anyway, this could pull, probably won't, but could pull back to the 38.2%. I would like to see it pull back because then we've got a decent wave 4. Now, I could have this move up here wrong as well. We could make another high, but let's just see how we go with this. That's just too small. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the thing that if you're thinking about trading Facebook, what we want to do is we want to get this wave 4 in, where even if there is another high and then we get a wave 4, right? What we want to be waiting for is this wave 2 pullback here. This is the one that we trade long on. I mean, this is where you can really sort of, in this leg here, we can start to build a proper position at that point. We've got a bit of skin in the game. We don't want to get stopped out. We've got that as a thin green line here, so that means you can get half a position if it pulls back to the 38.2% retracement level. We can manage that exposure. If it doesn't, well, it's just too bad. It's obviously running on the trend lines here as well, as you can see. So it looks like it just wants to, you know, continue up at that point there. So it makes that really small, which would in turn make me wrong with this wave 4 here. So I just want to see it a little bit larger. I could certainly expand this up here. I can always expand a wave count, you know, if it's moving in the direction, because it's expanding, just expands on itself. So you just move with it. That's all you can do. So, yeah. Okay, well, that's where we are. Everything's looking good here, though. But once again, we've only got 3 waves up, so it could fail. I don't think that will, based on that particular little move here, but possible. Anyway, a bit more to look at that point. And Tesla. So with Tesla, as I mentioned yesterday, I've got this wrong somewhere. This trend here is really, you know, sort of powering. So it's, yeah, I mean, it could be a B wave up here like we were looking for before. It's possible, but I just see so much strength in this now. Do you know what I mean? And I can see that all this is building, and you see how quickly that's moving here. To me, that's the center of the trend, really. Like if I look at, you know, when you look at a trend, you've got this 5-wave structure, so to speak. When I look at this, that's the most powerful point in the structure so far, and we're up here. I mean, it was a bit powerful down here, but at this point, it's kind of like we're here in the structure. So if this 5-wave structure, you know, from this low here, it's kind of like we're here, in like in the middle of the structure. So we'll be, you know, we'll be way up here somewhere. That's what I think's happening now. So apologies for leading people astray. I even led myself astray because I traded from here up into this group here somewhere, and got out and moved it over to another place, which it's happy where it is. But yeah, so I was just sort of rotating out. So I made an error there. So yeah, apologies for that. But you know, it happens, doesn't it? We all get things wrong. But yeah, so pick up the pieces and carry on. And yeah, so this is basically where I think we are. We're in a little, from wave 2 here, we've got a little 1 and 2 in here, and a 3 here, and a 4 here, and a 5 here. So we'll be at 900 there. Obviously, there's going to be a dance across the old highs here, but at the same time, the markets are bullish, so it's just going to vibrate here and then push up to 1,000. So yeah, it's if you want to get back in, that's the place to do it. I don't know if wave 4 should go here or here. I mean, this is just 5 waves here, so just can't see. I mean, that's the low, so it should go there. I'll have to go back and have a look at this again and see if it can be moved around, because otherwise we'll just have to look at this as wave 1 here with an A and a B wave here and a C wave here, but I don't get 5 waves here either. So it's sort of eeny, meeny, miny, mo at this point. But based on this, and this will become apparent, if that is wave 1 and A and B and a C here, then that will show up up here, further up here as another wave, and we'll look out for that. But still, we still get that 5 waves there. I'll have to, on the weekend, I'll go back and check it. So I don't know where that goes, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter in a way. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and the strong third wave is pumping up. So I'll keep sort of moving up. I may have this a bit shallow here. It could all be lifted up. This wave 3 could end up there as well. But what I can say to you is 2 things, is that we will get to 900. There will be some corrective activity across here, and we will be pulled up to 1,000. When we're working with 1,000, yes, of course it can go higher up into group 1, but yeah, that's sort of where we are. We'll keep a bit of an eye on it. I mean, in a way, what I find when you've got this 5-wave structure here, right in the middle here, you can kind of just grab all of this here, right, and sort of invert it and chuck it on its head, so it sort of, I don't know, sort of flips over, because and these become all the 4s and 5s at this point, because this is the same behaviour as the 4s and 5s up at this end. So we've got the beginning of something, and then the middle, and then the end. And the end is like the building process inverted. So it just gives you a bit of an idea. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, cheers.